Good morning everybody and welcome to this one-shot stream where we shall be playing Crusader Kings 3 and trying to unite Ireland whilst also giving a bit more information about what's going on, what I'm doing, and hopefully helping to give a bit more education for those of you who are just starting out on Crusader Kings 3. Now, we are gonna jump in to what is known as an easy start. It is a very simple beginner's start to Crusader Kings 3 if you're just starting out. It's also the start I use to help explain with the tutorial videos I have made. Not that they are all done, there is only a few up there so far, but if you want any more information, you can jump into those. But this is basically going to be it in a more applicable sense. So we're going to jump in and play Petty King Merchant, and our goal is to unite the Kingdom of Ireland, and of course actually also gain the Steam achievement. So let's jump straight in. Yep, we can... As you can see, I already had a save for the Petty King Merchant of Ireland. As I said, that is the one I have used on my tutorial videos. That's all good. It's not like I've done anything on my tutorial videos in terms of actual gameplay. And so here we are. So as you can see, we have the whole of Ireland broken up into all of its constituent independent rulers. Now, I think there's a whole one that has 2 counties. We start with 3. That's what also makes us an easy start. Now, what we may have to deal with, I don't actually know if they exist in 1066. They would have done if we started on the original. Would have been all of those ridiculous Viking invaders. However, I think we might be past that at the 1066 age. So here we are in the Kingdom of Ireland. Now, we do have some pop-ups to deal with straight away. The first one will be my lifestyle choice. Now, we start as a 3-star martially educated person. We are temperate, wrathful, and impatient, and we are also an aggressive attacker. Now, we are insular, And of course we are Irish. For this achievement you have to be an Irish ruler that takes over Ireland. Now in terms of being insular, we are, yep, all insular except for this county, who is actually ruled by a Catholic and is Catholic, and this ruler who is insular but ruled by a Catholic. So that will help us do a little bit of this and that. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our lifestyle. Now Marshall's a good one to go for, because at the beginning we're going to be trying to conquer a good chunk of land and expand our territory. Like I said, we're after Ireland, so we're going to have to go to war. So we're going to start on this, and we're going to chuck in some chivalry. Basically, we get +3 prowess, which is good for... Chivalry is focusing on us fighting. I could also go strategy to up my martial a little bit, but we're okay on martial. This will also give me a +5 advantage to my knights, or a battle advantage. So we are going to push that one through. So we've jumped into that. We will now wait to see what we get, and we'll probably go down at least Bellum Justum. That decreases our Casus Belli, which is our cause for war cost, by 50%, which is going to be huge, because we are going to be declaring, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wars. I didn't count the bottom one because I happen to know with this start, I can vassalize 2 people. Guess we'll be doing 8 wars. So this guy can happily be vassalized with low feudal obligations, as can... Oh, this guy can go for normal. So we will be chucking Desmond and Athlone. They will become part of our kingdom. Now, of course, that's going to help, because that means they will give us a little bit more money and a few troops. It will also mean we have 2 more people to keep happy, although cause us problems. We can also, as you can see, declare war on Earl of Desmond, basically. Earl Muirdac. But we're going to vassalize him, so it's much easier. It's going to save us time. And then we are not endorsed by our bishop. Now, this gets a little bit annoying because he doesn't give us any money. Now, it's not going to be a huge amount of money at this stage. You go internal, please. But it is going to be some. So I'm actually going to sway him. Family members can get married. My half-brother, and my player heir and son. Now, I can also get married. So, let's start at the top with myself. Oh, I can also have secondary spouses. Now, this will be useful for causing alliances. Now, I don't want to declare any alliances with any of these people, or maybe Connacht. And I can kind of worm my way up the side and then come back when that alliance ends. But I generally don't want to create too many alliances. Principality of Gwynedd. Now, they are likely to end up in several wars, but that's not a bad one. And, of course, as you can see, they have 4 daughters. So maybe let's marry one of these. You are not great. You're good, although you're extremely zealous and Catholic. You're very good. And you're okay. So I'm gonna marry Princess Dennis. So we're gonna marry Princess Dennis, because that will mean we get an alliance with Gwynedd, which we can easily show on the screen. And they have 2,000 troops. So when I go to war, I will be able to demand they come and join me, and I will have a 2,000 troop bonus. So, let's marry Princess Dennis. And then the next one also, my player heir. Ooh, he is not the best. He also needs a spouse. Now, we're not going to go for Gwynedd again, because that would be silly. Duchy of Aurora, Duchy of Bescon, Lordship of Penlyn. That's not a terrible one. Assume relevance is basically alliance power. Oh no. Duchy of Normandy. That's not too far. Bohemia is a bit far. Basically, I'm also judging, of course, because you don't want your allies to be too far away from you. Because by the time you come to war, if they turn up a year later, the war's likely to already be over. So you want a kind of mix. Someone who's strong, but someone who's also fairly close. Now, Normandy isn't too far away. However, his kids are a little bit young. Daughter of Duke William II. He could, of course, also become King of England, depending on how the 1066 start goes. This is, I assume, Duke William Yep. William the Bastard, as he's known as. Apologise for my language if there's anyone that finds that offensive. Flip out a little bit, but that is actually literally his historic name. Now, my place on there is 18. So maybe we don't go quite that young. County of Evreux. I mean, the Lordship of Penlyn isn't a terrible idea. Yeah, I mean, they don't... They're not particularly good people, though. County of Evreux. I mean, that will basically be in France. Burgundy, Provence. Earldom of Staffordshire. She's a countess, though, so she would not come help if I needed her to. Let's pick her. She's brave. She's compassionate. She's got some okay stats. You can remember here that will also cause me another alliance. Now, as I'm insular, I can also have secondary spouses. So if I have a look at... Just marry all 4 daughters of Gwyneth. Where is this duchy? It is in the Kingdom of Germany. She's not the best. Duchy of Evreux, Duchy of Gascon, Lordship of Penlyn, County of Carcassonne. How about we go by alliance power? There you go. Let's chuck that one in as well. I mean, that'll only be a betrothal, but that could get me allied. Although, wait, he is actually about to go to war for the Kingdom of England, so that's actually a terrible idea. Because I will then, of course, be dragged into his war. That is something else you have to consider. Obviously, every alliance you make, yes, they will come and help you. But you are also obligated to go and help them. And so, once again, if they're very far away, that can cause problems. You know what? Let's grab you. Let's marry off into some Welsh families. So that is... Now, obviously, I should ideally get a whole bunch of secondary spouses. Chucking you as well. You've got very good stats. Maybe we'll make her our primary, because that will help with stats. Obviously, pretty much all of the rest in general will help with alliances and making children. So that's not too much of a problem. Now, something we do have to be cautious of is the fact that our succession is likely to be partition succession. So we need to make sure we don't get any more duchy titles. Rank a prestige game. Prestige game? Yeah, that probably not really any prestige game going on in the world at this point. How about diplomacy? Yeah, we get 0. We don't lose any of those, so that's alright. And she can give us a whole 22 diplomacy. And then a few other things I'm just going to look up before we start. We have 6 knights and we have a couple of troops. Yeah, a couple of catapults, which is always nice to start with to help with sieges. And... how are said knights? 12s, 10s, 9s, 7, not too bad. Do we have, because another good thing you can do, also this is a good thing to do if you are particularly lacking in any one skill, is do... Oh, we have a guest? What is he here for? I don't know. He's terrible. My aunt and spy master. As you can see, she's unmarried. So a good little trick you can do, especially at the beginning of the game, where you're likely to be struggling to find people. There you go. He's a 13. He's not great. He's about as good as they come, though. However, I am going to marry her to him. I'm going to say matrilineal, because that should mean he should hopefully turn up at our house, as opposed to her going to his. And I'm going to send that proposal, and that will basically get me an additional knight. I'm not going to do any more, because as you saw, they haven't got great prowess compared to what I've already got. Now, other things to look at. I think that's about it. I think we can press play. I think I'm happy to see what happens. I've got the sway schemes going. We have a couple of people pop up and say... marriages popping up. So we have... there you go, there's 2 alliances. Gracious offer of vassalization. Athlone has joined in. Another alliance with Penlyn. And another vassal has dropped on. Now, as you can see, a current situation has just popped up. Powerful vassals expect council positions. Now, this basically means that your powerful vassals expect to be on the council. They expect to be rewarded because, quite frankly, they have a lot of swords. Now, this guy is terrible. So if you don't put them on the council, they will have a rather large negative opinion modifier, as you can see here, minus 40. However, like I said, he's terrible. So I'm not going to go and diminish my kingdom just to keep him happy. Now, the other guy, he is also terrible. So, that is something I will have to keep an eye on and deal with. You can also notice he's intimidated by me. That's what that little, I've always thought it to be a whip. I'm not quite sure. We'll call it a whip symbol. Means it can be either intimidated or terrified. Terrified is, of course, better. It means they will do absolutely nothing against you. Now, all of my wives are Catholic. And absolutely none of them will convert. She is intimidated. All have better learning than me. Is the problem, because my learning sucks. Nope, none of them will convert. Right, we'll have to try and deal with that. That, of course, could be a problem, because if all of my wives hate me, they could end up in schemes against me. Now, are you the one I particularly... yes, quite possibly. Assist ruler. Yeah, I can live with those stats. Gives me a +4 to my diplomacy. Which actually puts that into the positive. My learning, however, is not in the positive. Oh, it is, actually. Right, and as you can see, we have an event pop up. Now, this happens usually... you can have events for lots of things, admittedly. But quite often it has to do with your lifestyle you've chosen. We chose a martial, and we went for the knightly skill tree out of the 3. We're going to go down gallant, as in, but the choice we made on the left. So as you can see, this is kind of a lot to do with this. Knightly practice. The clanging of mail and the clashing of swords rings in my ears as my knights practice their arms. I study them intently, trying to ascertain each one's particular strengths and weaknesses. There can be little rest for them, for as soon as the bell is rung to signal the end of the mock melee, the stable doors are opened and it is time to bring out the mounts. Today we are going field riding. I might gain a martial lifestyle perk. Now this is going to have a lot to do with how good my martial is, and that'll give me a higher or lower percentage of actually completing the challenge. Or I'm going to get mounted exercise, which gives me +2 prowess and a small health boost. I'm going to go for an attempt to get the martial lifestyle perk. I have a martial of 18. That's not too bad. We'll see what we can get. Oh, hello. Nightly practice, a hilltop view. Canatic glances at the mudfields at the bottom of the hill. Those could serve as the outline of an enemy army, he says. I inform my knights as I inspect their battle line, preparing for them for the strategy at hand. I will gain a martial lifestyle perk. I should cut off diagonally and lead the knights into the flanks. Or charge. 68% chance I gain fierce charge exercises, which gives my cavalry bonus damage. I don't have any cavalry at this point. There's not much point. On the charge, a 31% chance it's a disaster, and I'll become wounded. So, let's gain the martial lifestyle perk, shall we? The storm of hooves around me, the shouts of mounted warriors, and their unyielding moment. Riding at their head, it feels as if I am at the head of a force of nature. This, however, is a force I direct. that responds to my every order, that I command as if it was an extension of myself. And don't I look smug and proud? Charging into the flanks of an imaginary army, my knights never straying from my plan. I know that this is how I bring utter devastation to the enemy. Here you go. I gained a martial lifestyle perk. So let's click on that. Like I said, let's get Balaam Justum. That will help with me being able to declare wars on other people. And let's see if I can declare. I mean, I can't declare any wars. I can tell if I could because it would tell me here. Now, I can. My half-brother and knight. He can marry... You got claims to stuff? Oh, yeah, you do. Mostly my stuff, I assume. Yeah, my stuff. The Earldom of Ulster. Yep, you can marry her. Now, the reason I've married her, she has a claim on the Earldom of Ulster. Now, I don't think I'll be able to press that, simply because the current ruler of Ulster is male, and she was female. And most successions at this point have the male... I should be able to declare a holy... No, I guess I can't do holy wars against Christians. My wife is pregnant, huzzah. Basically, most counties at the beginning, at least most Catholic counties, have the male succession title. So if there is a male on 11 or 19, yeah. If there was a male on throne, you cannot press a female or a child's claim. But if there is a female or a child on the claim, then you can press one of those because they are of equal level to each other. But a male takes precedence because that is their succession law. Now, let us see if you have any title claimants. Yes, you do. You do not want to come to my court. Betty King Chionet. We gained the trait pregnant. Let us see what... Oh, you have 3 claimants. And these claimants are not married, so I'm going to pause that a second. He is unlanded. What are the other ones? He's his child. He's not, I think he might be his brother, and he is his child. So I'm going to go for this guy. I'm going to arrange a marriage. My spy master. And if I choose matrilineal, it will not happen. Why? Age consideration. Oh, she's a bit of... Oh, she's not man. Marrying down. She's a lowborn. Okay. You are just a fancy hoity-toity kind of guy, aren't you? Alright then, so let's see if we can find some other claimants. Your nephew and his steward. Now you won't come to my court. And were you married? No, you weren't. You probably won't marry either, will you? No. Nobody wants to marry a lowborn. No, isn't that a shame? Just the one claimant. As you can see, none of them will probably come to my court at this stage, and that is fine. That is absolutely fine. So what we will simply do instead, the last way to basically get... the last way to basically get a claim is to fabricate a claim. Now, this can go good, this can go bad. It will cost you money once the idea is complete, which, you know, you kind of want to keep hold of your money because you will also cost more money to raise your troops. So you don't ever want to have too much money bleeding off. 485, 393. Your next title becomes... Oh, that's just you two. What are you part of? Ah, it's just you and Dublin. And, yeah, to create it, you happen to need both parts of it. You can see there's not a lot of claims going around, so I think we are going to have to fabricate. Oh, you have a claim on something? What do you have? Ah. claim on the... Oh, sorry, no, there is a whole thing. But I need 2 of the counties to be able to grab it. Maybe I jump in here, or maybe I jump into Dublin. And he actually has a claim on... Oh, the Alderman Leinster. Let's jump in for that one. I'd like you to please fabricate me a claim on Dublin. Now, of course, there was also one other way which I cannot do. It must be a Catholic thing. Thought it might be the same because, quite frankly, we still go in for the Pope. You can actually ask the Pope to give you a claim. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem we're able to do that at this stage, but that is something I have seen on Catholic rulers. Now, the other thing we should probably look at is my faith, basically making sure I follow its rules. It's pretty simple. You don't necessarily have to jump into the scheme. As you saw earlier when I was marrying people, I could see what were virtuous traits, and I would have been able to see what were sinful traits as well. Basically, these are the things. Obviously, marriage type monogamous. Oh, I can have multiple wives. That will be due to my culture. Polygamous. Which is interesting how they clash with each other, which one overrides the other, but that's just how it goes. Better on coastal places, refined poetry, pastoralists. All Irish characters get +1 prowess and a bit of disease resistance. And temperate trait is more common and has additional bonuses. Now, this is my culture. Now, if I look at my innovations, we are trying to learn Royal Prerogative, which will allow us to push higher levels of Crown Authority. However, what I'm going to change to is Hereditary Rule. This will basically allow my lands to go to my children, but no titles will be created, because that is always a danger. Because if you happen to hold enough land, say, for another duchy title, when it goes to your children, they will create the duchy title. Now, if your current title is also a duchy title, that means your realm will split in half. We don't want this to happen, because we are going to be trying to obviously conquer a lot of land, and then eventually we will own certain duchies, which is a good point, actually. Which I've just realised. Obviously, you fall under Meath, which is also Dublin. So we don't actually want to get Dublin, because that would mean we have enough for a duchy, and it could cause us problems. So we are going to simply jump in with Leinster. Because Leinster is not part of Meath, Leinster is part of the Kingdom of Ireland. It's part of the Duchy of Leinster. County of Leinster is also the Duchy of Leinster. So we'll jump in that one so that there will be no accidental duchies created upon succession, and my kingdom won't split. So we're going to press play. And that claim will take approximately 15 months to push. Okay, cool. Now, of course, a lot of other things which will have an impact in terms of our reputation with all of our people that deal with us. For instance, short reign. Short reign decreases over time, because obviously the longer I've reigned, I don't have a short reign. So that will decrease over time. Other things that will change, nothing really on that screen, to be honest with you. He is also Catholic. Would you convert for me? Probably not. Face red with anger, yelling loud enough for the entire castle to hear her. Alec just insulted your honour. Oh, he was married to my spymaster. He's the one I dragged in. Way to go. The more I'm convinced that my wife is not telling me the truth. By the end of our discussion, I am left with a distinct impression that Elaine has fabricated the entire thing to smear Kalach. I will take the 150 prestige. It'll be very useful at this stage. Now, the Petty Kingdom of Connacht has gone and vassalized the other county in his thing. And he has been raided. Okay, I guess that means he's chasing his raider. Now, I doth believe... No, I cannot raid because it is not acceptable in my religion. My daughter-in-law has given birth to a son. There you go, I have a... he is wheezing. This is a congenital trait that unfortunately came out of the left field. Came out of absolutely nowhere. I, however, do have another daughter myself. And I should have another kid pop up at some point soon. I failed to sway my priest, which is a shame. As I said, the priest is a good way to help you get... It helps get you a fair few extra troops. Also helps you get you a bit extra gold. It's also nice... It's always nice to have your priest endorsing you. By endorsing you, it basically means that he likes you. And the more he likes you, the more he endorses you. Up to a certain point. I think it drops off at around 50, 60 opinion modifier. Is the highest you really need to get for him to be able to endorse you. Obviously, it's always worth maybe pushing it a little bit beyond that. Because then if something happens and his opinion drops, I have a second daughter. Huzzah! We have alliance marrying material. You got to be strong and wise. Obviously, I don't need to worry about my realm splitting amongst my daughters, as I am also in a male preference round. So that won't be a problem. Like I said, it's just alliance. Alliance marrying potential. Oh, and we have gone to sea. There's the salty air in my face. It's a short voyage, and then all of a sudden, we see a whale! Excuse me one sec. Oh, the lich on my back. Oh, isn't that so satisfying? Oh, excuse me. 46% chance to get 100 gold. That's a prowess challenge. I just let the other handle it and gain 50 gold. Or let it go free and get... So I'm going to let the others handle it and just get the guaranteed 50 gold. Like I said, gold is important at this point. And that's probably what I'm roughly going to be spending on this claim. Because like I said, you do have to pay for a claim you create. So, that's likely to happen. Now, he is still a very, very lonely man. No alliances. He is actually also probably about to drop dead. So his primary heir will take over, and so he will become stronger. Probably to the degree of slightly stronger than me. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, as I said, he is likely to drop dead. He's now 73. The fact that he's still alive is amazing. Could have probably picked a fight with this guy, but that's fine. Now, something else that I will mention a little bit later as well that you do have to look out for, folks, is the fact that if you are constantly at war... Now, this does depend on your culture and religion, but for my culture and religion, we are generally more of a peaceful, calmer culture and religion. So, if you are at war, you will start to get an offensive war, that is. You will not be punished for defensive wars. You do not control those. But if you are at an offensive war, you will be punished, again, with a negative modifier with your vassals and courtiers. Now, basically, the longer you're at war, the bigger this modifier ticks up. And then as you finish your war and you are at peace, this modifier ticks down. Obviously, even if you get into a defensive war, as I said, you are not punished for defensive wars. Even if you have this negative modifier, it will still continue to tick down. Because, again, it's not your fault if you're in a defensive war. Someone's turned up and they're picking a fight with you. However, if I'm picking a fight, it's warmongering activities, and no one particularly likes that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to move my rally point to here, get nice and close, wait for that claim to kick off. Look for my sway scheme to kick off as well. Yeah, we'll organise army, we'll increase the levy size. I would like to manage royal guards, but for that you need a court grandeur at level 3. Managing royal guards basically increases your knights' effectiveness, thus making them better in battle. Basically what I mean by that is if I go here and I click on my knights, you can see I have 6 out of 6 knights, and my knight effectiveness is 100%. Now don't be fooled, it can be a lot higher than 100%. You can be over the 200% mark, which basically means that your knights are 200% effective, twice as good. We will get quite a bit of that stuff going down the gallant tree. See, now it's going to cost me 87 gold. That's a fair bit. See it done. Now, however, I am going to go and declare this war, and hopefully I can get it before he drops dead. Now, Crusader Kings 3 does like screwing with you, so there's a fair chance, maybe not. I'm going to raise all my men-at-arms. Oh, whoops, sorry, I'm going to raise all. I am in command, because I am the currently best commander, which makes sense, because I am also going down the prowess and commander line. And as you can see, we have a few more troops. We do have advantage. That's what this roll is. There are many factors to that. And that bar that was moving across the top is literally how the battle is going. As you can see, I was blue, he was red, and it was ticking more and more in my favour until it got to the end. And when it gets to the end, you basically won. Now he's going to come back because he's got only one county to defend. He really wants to try and push it. There you go. It's moving in my favour. It's moving a lot more rapidly due to the fact that I have much higher advantage. I've just gone and gained a valuable hostage. That will be his... Oh! That's his son and heir. Now that's just happened because he has just gone and died. I am now fighting also against the barony of Dublin because he now actually controls this county as well. Not a problem because I killed the other guy early. I also still have slight advantage against this guy. So that's allowed me to basically beat him in a fight as well. Now these things that come up, most of the time you'll just right click on them to dismiss them. But I'm just opening one to show you. You can basically see how many troops he started with, how many died, and how many retreated. As you can see, it shows it for you as well. This is basically your army, how much you lost, how much you got left, how much fame you gained, and the change in war score. I gained an extra 15% war score for this battle. Now, I'm also just going to quickly show you this one. As you can see, everybody died. This was because it is very unlikely to happen simply through normal means. But if you win a battle in the initial skirmish stage, which I will show you, I'm sure he's going to come back and attack me. There are 4 stages. You basically destroy his whole army. So let's quickly just go and dismiss that. My cousin has arrived at court with a bandaged arm and fear in his eyes. He tells me that my son and heir has been challenging people to duels all over Athlone. Please forgive me, my lord, but this has to stop. Brian turned up at my doorstep and challenged me. I had no choice but to accept. This is not the first time either. I am but the last in a long line of victims. The duels will cease. That will cost me 50 gold, which I don't really have. He will, however, then gain the aspiring Blade Master. There's a chance I could just simply beat him up instead. I mean, he doesn't really have much prowess. There's probably not much point in trying to push his aspiring Blade Master. Let's just beat him up instead. He gained the trait wounded. Hopefully that won't do too much. Is that a... Oh, that's a severe penalty to his health. Ooh la la. But he's young. He'll recover. So here we go. Now I will show you what I meant by the phases. As you see, these are the phases just above the screen. There are 4 of them. The first one is maneuver. Nothing really happens in maneuver. The second one is the skirmisher phase. This is where more things like archers, etc. will have a bit more advantage. I'm sorry, interruption. I'm going to go and jump into my martial lifestyle. And like I said, we're going to go down the gallant tree. Or maybe I should actually do siege weapon effectiveness as well. That would be very useful. But no, we're going to go down the gallant tree. As you can see, this will give me 4 more prowess. Reduces the risks of commanding armies. May challenge rivals to single combat, inflicting stress if you win. Now we're going to do that because there's also a fair chance I'm going to be commanding my armies. So we now get an extra bit of prowess, so an extra bit of... Oh, my nephew was slain. That's never good. Captured more enemy combatants. He's, of course, going to keep coming back and fighting me. So as I was saying, there are 4... Oh, no, he's waiting for reinforcements. Oh, that could be bad. Let's assault this fort, because I really need to get it over and done with. Simply because we have now won the war, so I'm going to enforce my demands. And I gain the contested title. Now I expand my army. As you can see, if you're paying attention, my gold amount changed. I'm now making more gold because having your armies raised costs more money. And there you go. And as I mentioned about negative opinion modifier, as you can see, slightly down, there you go. My offensive war score is -1. That won't last very long, a month or so, and then that will disappear, and I will not have any more negative modifiers. Now, as I was mentioning about battles, there are 4 phases. As I said, the first one is the maneuver. Not a lot happens in this phase. The skirmisher phase, This is for skirmishing. It favours a bit more of your archers and your skirmishers. But everyone does, in fact, get involved. Now, if you kill someone in this phase, like I said, the army disappears. However, then the next phase is, I believe it's called the battle phase, as opposed to the skirmish phase. If you kill someone in this phase, then their army starts retreating. You will notice these numbers on the battle. I'll show you next time we have a fight. And then you chase them, and you kill as many of them as you can before they run away. And that's basically how it goes. Now, oh, this county has low control. We're going to help. There are no valid targets for this. I think there are. Okay. Strange. And of course, then I have another powerful vassal. My half-brother can marry. He has several claims, and they're all on my land. Has claims on the Kingdom of England and the County of Staffordshire. Interesting. No alliances. So let's just... Yep. Let's just find you someone to marry. I can hire a court physician. He is correct, I can. And there you go. I obviously missed it. My court physician now endorses me. This would have happened, I imagine, I just swayed him. So if I go across, and you can see on the little thumbs up button, because he now endorses me, I'm gaining 0.2 gold. Not a huge amount, but he doesn't get too much gold. We're a very small country at the moment. Out of a possible 0.5. And he will grant me 60 out of possible 91 levies. And that is on a plus score of 23. So like I said, around 50-60 is the what tops it out. And that will allow me to get the 0.5 and the full 91. Low counter control in Leinster. So there you go. Now, low counter control. Oh good, she's married my half-brother. Low counter control is a problem because it decreases the amount of tax and the amount of levies you get. Now, as you can see, my tax is reduced by 73%. That is basically, counter control is out of 100. I am basically about 73 points off the top of the counter control. So that is basically what I lose in tax. Now, this is obviously a problem, especially at the beginning, because you want as much tax as possible. Because, of course, you need your money. And if I was going to go and fabricate another claim, that would pretty much cost me all of my money. See, there you go. I can request a claim. It will cost me piety. And he may grant me a claim on this land. Now, as you can see, he won't. There are many factors. For instance, he is of a lower rank than me. And the Pope doesn't much like me. Never going to help. And then, of course, there's always base reluctance. Most things like this have a base reluctance. Usually of minus 50. Now, this one, however, not quite so low because he's of the same rank than me. However, he has a virtuous trait. He also has a sinful trait, which kind of cancels it out. But as you can see, there are various modifiers there. I also have a virtuous trait, which means he likes me a little bit more. Now, if I could get him to like me, that would be fantastic, which I believe you are doing. No, you're increasing my piety. There are no valid targets. Oh, convert faith and counter. Yes, of course. My insular theocratic ruler opinion is a plus 5. You can get up to a maximum of plus 5.5. Now, this guy doesn't like me because I am insular, which is not strictly Catholic. This is obviously the Catholic Pope. And because of cultural acceptance. My personal diplomacy helps a little bit, and the fact that I'm temperate helps a little bit more. Now, the fact that... Oh, there you go, I swayed him again. So just to show you, there you go. 0.7. And my number of potential levies has also increased. It's basically just added Leinster's numbers to the pool. Insular theocratic ruler opinion. We don't have a theocratic ruler. Let's hang on, let's we're not going to buy a gift for anybody because it costs me money. And as I said, we need our money. Theocratic. Okay, except my ruler is not theocratic. He's the Pope. Alright, and so more to the point, the big goal, how long do we get Kingdom of Ireland? I need 2 more counties. And obviously once I get the Kingdom of Ireland, I can simply push the Jure War saying, well, you kind of belong to me, guys, so come on over. So on that point, oh, I cannot declare war. And as you can see, declaring war will break the truce. So if you declare war on somebody, now I didn't technically declare war on this person, but he did become the ruler of the land I then did take. If you declare war on somebody, if when you beat them, or even I think in fact when you lose against them, you will then have a truce with them. So as you can see, I have a truce with this guy for 4 years. It is a 5-year truce. We obviously have ticked across a little bit. 1974 on the 9th of June. So as you can see, it's 4 and a bit years from what we currently are. The current date is down here. And so we will have a truce with him for 5 years. And so that basically means that we can't declare war on him for 5 years. It stops, it also helps you, of course, if you happen to have a big neighbor. It stops basically someone constantly hammering their neighbor into oblivion. You know, you've had a war, right, okay, we'll play nice for 5 years, we'll leave you alone. And then you get to do it again. So, that's how that currently stands. And as I said, so we can't declare war on him again for 5 more years. That doesn't mean we can't declare war. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to fabricate a claim. Oh, it has to be somebody next to me. I don't want to fabricate a claim on them, because I wanted to take them whole when I became Irish. I'm going to go for Ossory then. I didn't really want to, because like I said, that whole thing about creating potential duchies. Oh, and I am 43. I am fine. I mean, I would have liked to have gotten Oriel, to be honest. If I can get 2 more counties, then I can basically create the Kingdom of Ireland. Creating the Kingdom of Ireland, however, will cost me a fair whacker of gold. 425. Minus 15% because I am courtly. So yes, it will cost me 425 gold. So obviously, you know, that is a pretty big ask. Especially if I am fabricating claims, which does cost me a nice bit of money. He will not accept, because he does not like me. He still doesn't have a wife, however. Now, obviously, I think we're going to have to come in here. Whoops. Here. You go back to simply... You stop pressing claims for a second. Like I said, we need to build up our gold. Arrange marriage with my daughter. He will not accept anyway. He will not accept matrilineal. That's a shame. And I have another daughter. More alliance material. Oh, your child died. Now you have a child. He's 20, however. Oh no! Oh no! My daughter is sickly. That's never good. That's never good at all. Your sister-in-law. Is he my brother-in-law? No. Of course, none of these will... Unless one of them happens to be... None of these are actually sins. I wouldn't class them as very useful traits. Oh, he has 4 traits. He's doing wonderfully. You would probably be the closest, but the fact that you're also lower rank than me doesn't really help. The Pope hates me is the problem. Oh. He's not swayed. That's fine. Earldom of Ennis gained Smuggling Ring. Ennis being this top one. That is not a good thing because it's gone. Well, that Smuggling Ring didn't last very long, did it? Meticulous Management. Popular Opinion plus 13. So we will keep increasing the county control there. As you can see, my gold income is now to 4. That will be due to the fact that my priest now gives me 0.9. And of course, I'm earning a little bit more as well. I thought I stopped swaying you. Short and professional. Not that it matters, I've just stopped. Right then. Is there anybody that's... claimants. You are... Yeah, he's your dad. He's your brother. And he's also your brother. He does not much like me. Now, making him like will only give me a plus 25, so that's not really much of a point or a thing. Oh, no, wait. Oh, yeah. Weird. Strange. He has big claims to Wales, and then the Earldom of Dublin. A fine balance. In the heart of combat, decisiveness is often what separates victory from defeat. When the time comes, I will know how to act. Unyielding defender, flexible leader. I will gain 40 stress because I'm impatient either way. Flexible leader gets me... Enemy defensive advantage minus 50. Yeah, we'll do that. That will obviously help me actually go to war. Now I gained a bit of stress, so we'll hopefully have to see if that can get worked off. Oh, me damn priest cost me 50 piety. Oh, he's being pious. Vows of poverty. I'm sure I have to yeah, take vows of poverty. You gain vows of poverty. Monthly tax minus 20%, but a bit more piety and also a bit more clergy opinion. But I'm not going to do that, because I want my gold. Invite knights, invite claimants. Call hunt, host feast. Now, obviously, invite claimants will invite claimants to my land. It'll cost me a lot of prestige. Do you know what? Let's try it. Let's see if we get anyone useful. I'm pretty sure we'll get claimants on places like the counties in England. However, there is no harm in trying. See, there you go. Oh, the County of Lordship of Divot. We have just received a guest who has a claim on the County of Divot. Now, unfortunately, we were hoping for one in Ireland somewhere, but we'll see who else turns up. Oh, and there you go. He's gone and gained himself another county as well. That is going to be our rival out and out, no question about it. And of course, guys, if you are enjoying this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, jump up and chat, or if you're watching it afterwards, pop a comment down below if you have any questions or anything more you'd like to know. Courtship. See, knight effectiveness plus 20 to 75%. Now, I was mentioning this earlier. So if I show you now, my knight effectiveness is 175%. So he will now technically... Excuse me, I got the hiccups. He will now technically have a prowess of, rough maths in my head, something like 25, 26. In terms of, you know, how many good old peasants he can kill on the field. Every point of prowess on one of your knights is basically worth 10 peasants. As a peasant has an attack, or I say a levy it's technically called, they're peasants, has an attack of 10 and a defense of 10, a knight for every prowess gets 100. So a knight with 10 prowess is 100 levies. Sorry, 10 levies? Yeah. No, yeah, every one prowess is 10 levies, so 10 prowess is 100 levies. Wow, that makes knights really effective. When you start thinking about numbers and crunching them up a bit, guys, it's huge. There you go. Each point of prowess gives 100 damage, where then if I go on levies, they have a defense of 10 and an attack of 10. So every point of prowess should technically be able to kill 10 levies. So having an increased knight effectiveness is glorious. Sweaty, tired, and in the need of food, a long day of training with the troops is coming to an end. As we search for a place to camp, we spot an old and abandoned castle in the distance. Running a hand through my hair, I declare, that is where we will make our camp tonight. The sun is setting, and whenever we step towards the ruin, it looks more ominous. Before long, the soldiers are whispering about ghosts. I gained heightened soldier morale. Or let's venture inside and see if we can find treasure. I have faced my fears, which I get for 10 years, or... let's get some gold. Come on, let's get 75. Yeah! We find a great treasure. No, so like I said, I am actually going to go and push this claim now. I need 425. Now, the claims are also probably going to cost me about 100 each. So I need about 625 gold, give or take, to make the Kingdom of Ireland with 2 wars. Now, of course, I would love it if I can... more claimants are turning up by the second. Oh, a sickly child, unfortunately. Oh, more to the point. Arrange a marriage. See, nobody wants to marry my spy master. With... they are related, however. Ah, darn it. Let's just press play. Let's just double check these ones again. Oh, only one claimant. Oh, will not accept matrilineal. Which is useless because then he doesn't turn up at my court. As you can see, folks, I'm trying to find any way to get any form of a claimant in my territory so I can push his claim and then he will become part of my land. Prep beating my forward when I experience the uncanny sensation of being watched. Looking over my shoulder, I spot my knight Taggart, who waves at me. I walk over to greet him. We talk about our weapon practice for a while, trading tricks and advice. Just as I am about to leave for another round, Tadic's face lights up and he suggests we practice together. Sure. A sword at my throat. Ooh! The 35% chance happened and he beat me. He has a prowess of 9. I have a prowess of... only 15. I thought I was much higher than that. A sound of swords clashing and swords echo between the courtyard walls. All eyes are on us. Everyone wants to see their petty king fighting his knight. I must be tired from my previous practice because I move sluggishly and able to keep up with my opponent. When I lunge, he is already gone, and my parries come at the very last moment. It is not long before I find myself on the ground before him. He gains 10 opinion of me. 53% chance we go. I attempt to get him down, or I get wounded. Let's not get wounded. I will happily gain the 50 martial, and he can have 20 opinion of me. Now, as I was saying, I'm trying to get any form of... oh, you have 6 claimants. Surely one loves me. Unfortunately not. One of his claimants happens to be... oh, that guy. That's not going to help me. That means he could potentially go push his claim, which is also very much not going to help me. It looks like it's a race with me and the Duke of Connacht as to who is going to get the Kingdom of Ireland. Arranged marriage. Won't accept my spy master. Arranged marriage. Will accept my daughter. But they are related. Won't accept my spy master. Ooh. He will not accept my daughter either. He's already got a spouse. And then he has a son. Arranged marriage to my youngest daughter. That's fine, it can be of his dynasty. Oh, but he won't accept. He just simply won't accept. I have too many existing alliances. Oh, fine. I was trying to get you a friend, but if you don't want a friend, then you shall not have a friend. Yeah, we're still ticking along. So obviously, you know, the time's still ticking along in the background, folks, although I'm doing a lot of other random things. See, another claim on a county of Wales. See, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any claims on any counties in Ireland. I assume, yep. I can't declare any wars at the moment. And there you go. Another claim on the exact same county. So as I said, I think we are simply going to have to do this by fabricating a few claims. And once I've done this, I need one more, which I'll probably attempt to just push on this guy. And then I will have the lower half of Ireland, and I will be able to create the Kingdom of Ireland. And more to the point, I've just realised... Yes, I also require a second duchy, so it will not cost me 425. And I have another daughter. Ah! This is going fantastically. I've got alliance material everywhere. It will not cost me 425. It will cost me... Well, there's another 200, 600. It cost me about 800 all up. So I need about another 500 gold. So let's hopefully get some good events. I mean, I've had the whale one that got me 50 gold. I've had the Let's Go Exploring the Dark and Dangerous Castle that got me 75 gold. Let's hope for a few more of those. That's basically all. My wife's pregnant again. I've got 4 wives, so one's probably going to be pregnant quite often. But as I was saying, let's hope for a good few events. And let us try and basically keep pushing the money. As I said, I need 800 give or take all up. So I'm about halfway there. So of course, we have some lovely alliances. We are... Oh, hello. What came up? What came up? I can designate a guardian for my daughter. That's not a problem. What are you going? You are trying to become diplomatic. You can be educated by the wife. And on that note, nope, all of my wives still hate me. So none of them are, of course, going to... Oh, demand conversion. So accept. See how many of my wives... Oh, demand conversion. So accept. Some of my wives will... you won't. No, you won't either. Okay, well, 2 of my wives have now converted to my faith. It's always useful. Oh, and then my next daughter. She is trying to become... Ooh, stabby, stabby. My spy master, yes. You can educate my stabby, stabby daughter. Now, what... He's fabricated the claim. See it done. This is going to cost me another 87 gold. Alright, see it done. And then let's simply jump in here. Let's declare some war. My claim. And let's declare that war. Raise all my troops. Right next to the enemy again. And let's go to war. Now, the good thing is I am just making gold when I've raised my armies. And I am not going to call my allies because it's unnecessary. And if I call my allies, they will actually lose some opinion of me. 1 second, folks. I'm just going to play around with my settings a tiny bit on my stream. Great. That one. That one. Sorry. I'm back. I'm back on the stream. My daughter-in-law has given birth to another son. How's my first son doing? Oh, he's the Weezer. May you grow to be strong and wise. Oh, good. My daughter is no longer sickly. That's good. As you can see, we ended up in the 3rd phase, which was the actual battle phase. And I have another daughter. Ooh, she's quick. And I think that is my last wife to actually get pregnant. All the rest are giving me children. And that victory got me 50% war score. Now, for battles on offensive wars, 50% is the maximum war score you can gain. I'll show you what I mean for this after I've given myself a quick perk. Never back down. Friendly fatal casualties minus 20%. Advantage plus 5. Let's do that. I am leading my armies, and then I'll be able to gain plus 4 knights. Then I might have to go looking for some more knights, especially with any female courtiers marrying a good old knight and bringing them into the household thing. So as I was saying, as you can see, plus 50% max. That is the maximum you can get on an offensive war for battle score modifier. That is obviously basically, if you crush their armies loads, you gain positive percentage to the war score in your favor. Obviously, if you lose fights, it goes the opposite direction. Now, the other things that determine the war score, you have from occupying holdings. This guy only has 1 holding, so I'm going to press play, so it's going to move whilst I'm on the screen. This guy only has 1 holding, so when I take it, I will basically gain. I will win the war. The one on the end is from prisoners. Basically, if you take a valuable hostage, a good hostage. If you get the good guys, if you take a valuable hostage, it will give you war score. There you go. A valuable hostage captured. I have just gone and captured their heir. He's worth 50%. And the other one's basically war score from held objectives. If you hold the objectives, over time, you will slowly get a ticking war score. However, if you lose the objective, this disappears. And obviously all of these modifiers can work for your enemy as well. But as this increases, even if you then lose it and take it back, I do believe off the top of my head, forgive me if I'm wrong, that it basically restarts at the percentage it was on when you lost it. So holding the war objective is a great advantage to winning the war. Now, let's give people... They all pretty much gain opinion of me. Let's go to my steward. Let's pause this a second. Now, he is the heir. He only has one claim. So basically, I am just going to enforce the demands and lower my armies. And the reason I didn't basically... I was going to basically check to see what I could do with him, because you can do things with certain prisoners. For instance, I will show you here. This guy, he's a pretty good fighter. He's unlanded and he's in my territory. Now, I'm going to negotiate his release. I'm going to demand his conversion. And I am going to recruit him. This, of course, will change his opinion of me. It will give him a negative 35. This will, of course, drop off. So I'm not too worried. He's no one particularly powerful. And this will bring him into my house. So I will have another knight with a prowess of 14. Now, this guy, who is actually related to me, is my nephew. And he has a claim on the earldom of Leinster. Now, unfortunately, that's not overly useful to me at this stage. However, I am also going to recruit him. What is renouncing his claims? Let's not make him renounce his claims. He can have it if he wants. I am also going to recruit him so I then have another knight of a prowess of 14. Those are the various things you can do when you basically release someone from your dungeon. So they are now both in my court. And how does that do? I can create the Duchy of Leinster. I can. And I also then have low counter control in Ossory. So we're going to jump in the time in between. And up that control. I mean, as you can see, lock. Galon, it only gets me half a gold. But still, every half a gold counts. So we're going to jump that in. And of course, with an extra territory, my priest now also makes a gold. As you can see, he went up by even more gold than I'm going to go up. Which always seems to happen, quite frankly. Your round priest will usually always be richer than you. Don't ask me why. You gotta hate it sometimes, quite frankly. Oh, he just got his ass handed to him. Now, if I could see what's going on, I could judge it, and I could potentially go and help him. Because when raiders turn up, they raid somewhere, they steal a bunch of gold, and they run away. However, if you can intercept them and kill them, you get that gold back. Of course, I've just realized I wouldn't be able to intercept him. My son. Oh, that's bad news. That's bad news extremely. Because this now means that my realm is about to... Let's get you fabricating already. Is about to disappear and fracture. Because, as I mentioned earlier, with my succession law, basically, on succession, titles will be lost. And as you can see, the Duchy of Leinster will actually be created. Now, this is a problem because I'm only a duke. A duke cannot rule a duke. You can only rule titles of one tier lower than you. So, with that, if my son gets my main title, the Duchy of Munster, and my other son gets the Duchy of Leinster, they will be equals. So my realm will in fact split. As I expect stables, my gauge is drawn to a mare, kept away from all others. So more to point, hang on, let's not quite jump into the event yet. So more to point, as I was saying, that will be a problem because I am trying to consolidate lands so that I can... You don't have limited crown authority. Okay, I will need limited crown authority. Well, let's pass that now. I'm missing some prestige. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I do need the hereditary innovation. If I can get hereditary innovation, my titles will still split, but new titles will not be created. So, as long as I don't create the duchy myself, there's no fear. So, as I inspect the stables, my gaze is drawn to a mare kept away from all others. She throws her head and stomps her hooves, displays her powerful hindquarters and well-arched neck. This creature has the best of conformations and the worst of tempers. I have never seen such a warhorse before, but the stable master insists that she is impossible to train. Now I could attempt to fetch a hefty price. Like I said, I do kind of really want the gold. Knight effectiveness plus 20, although I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem with the direction I'm kind of going in. I might gain a martial lifestyle perk. The horse might become my own steed. I'm very tempted to push the gold, as we've now dropped down a bit, but I still need about 700. So I'm still 400 off. I'm going to go for the gold, just because I would, in a general game, probably push the attempt to get a steed. It's quite actually a nice event line. However, just because of what I'm doing, and I'm in a little bit of a rush, especially now... Oh, my daughter learned a language. Especially now that I'm a little bit worried about this. I mean, this is going to take another 20 years. I probably won't live that long. So as I'm now in a bit of a rush, or I might just about live that long. Now as I'm in a bit of a rush, as I've repeated myself 4 times, I kind of need the money. Like I said, I need about another 300. I'm only getting 5 a month, so that's not too much. So I really could do with some nice events. You know, 50 gold here, 50 gold there, 100 gold on 0.3. And my wife is pregnant again. I'm sure that'll be another son, so when I gain this county, I will have another duchy breaking off from me. But that's fine, because although it will break off, I will technically still have a claim on it. So I would technically be able to just go to war and get it back, but it's not ideal. And obviously, if they're created that way, it doesn't cost me any money. It's a free creation. However, I would just rather my kingdom didn't separate. I mean, if it was being created and given... If I only had one son, that would be fantastic, because they would be created and given to my one son. But however, now I have 2 sons, and I'm sure probably about to become 3 sons. That is not going to be the case. So, we'll wait for that claim to tick up and declare that war. My negative war score should have disappeared by that point, if I've even got one. I mean, that was a very, very fast war. I don't have one anymore. And as you can notice, I also now have something just slightly down here called long reign. The fact that my short reign, and I've been reigning for a short time, has happened, and that has gone. And now I've been reigning for what counts as a long time. So I now have a long reign positive modifier. So, as I said, we will generally keep that ticking up. Now, this isn't going to happen because he doesn't like me. Can I, though, out of curiosity... Murder, Grand Field. Is neither your de jure liege nor a neighbouring liege. Swearing fealty is basically me becoming their vassal. So, for instance, no, I don't think I can do it with these guys. It's still duchy, so I don't think I can do it. However, this guy's a king. Let's have a look. Who did you become? Oh, Haroldson. Harold Hod... No, you're not Harold Hodgerod, are you? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, there you go. I could swear fealty to this guy because A, he's a rank higher than me. He's a king. And he is technically my neighbour. He's my neighbour across the ocean, but he is technically my neighbour. Oh, another daughter. Huzzah. Of course, not that I want to do that. I want to become the King of Ireland, which becomes much more difficult if I am somebody's vassal, because that gives me restrictions on what I can and can't do, and technically everything becomes theirs. It does, however, of course, if I am their vassal, no one can declare war directly on me, because if you declare war on someone, you have to declare war on the highest tier title in that kingdom. For instance, I couldn't declare war on the Count of Oriel, because he is, in fact, under the Duke of Connacht. So I would, in fact, have to declare war on the Duke of Connacht, even just to take the County of Oriel. Have to declare war on their liege. There's a kind of fealty protection thing going on. Aha, we have a claim. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see it done. It cost me another 87 gold. And let's simply declare that war. For my claims. Declare war. Oh, yeah, raise all my troops. Let's move you one up, simply because I can. Raise all here. Oh, and as you can see, we are now losing gold. That is simply due to the fact that my troop numbers have increased. Order of Thomond gained inefficient census. We have no idea how many people live in the Earldom of Thomond because my steward is a moron. Who is my steward? He's my nephew. Do I have a better steward? No, I do not. So there you go, won the fight. I'm not gonna lie, wasn't really ever in question. However, it's going to be a bit of a long siege, but that's fine. Who is this guy? Ah, one of my earls loves me a bit more because of my councillor, my chancellor. And my priest is still spending my piety because he is a moron. So there you go, I gained 22% war score, 98 fame, which is useful because I need a bit more fame to change my succession law. And I killed 480 of his troops and 783 ran away. I find a little scroll resting on my bolster. Someone has entered my chambers unnoticed. A chill runs down my spine as I carefully unroll the thick parchment. My brave star, Lord of Heart. I can keep my feelings secret no longer. From this day on, I will do everything in my power to prove my loyal affections. That is my son's wife, ladies and gentlemen. My son's wife is trying to seduce me. No. Just no. Will you behave yourselves? Now, of course, being an adulterer, etc., is a sin for the Catholics, or even the Insulars, basically the Christians. It's an easier way of putting it. So I am not going to go and do that, quite frankly. What I am going to do is I am going to split off new regiment. I am simply going to take these guys, run away down here. The things we share. I just know that Dennis understands how I view the world. Fantastic. Oh, you are insular. You are insular and Welsh. Basically, I'm going to run away with this guy because I want to disband him. That, as you can see, will now cost me less gold. I still have 1,500 troops. I outnumber him 2-1. So in no way am I worried about him beating me in a fight. It means I might not completely destroy him in a fight, but it does mean that I am not worried about beating him in a fight. There you go. I just went up. You should say it says my glory is widely known. That's because I went up a prestige level. Now, with prestige, you have a general score, but you also have a progress bar towards the next level. As you can see, I need 3,000 fame, prestige, to get to the next level. Now, this does not get taken away as you spend prestige. There are a few events which can take away your fame. That is the difference. You will notice fame and prestige. Prestige is your number, fame is the actual progress. And so I am now distinguished, which is the 3rd level of fame. I'm going to go and just enforce this. Quickly just give myself my last perk. I get 4 more knights. So be it. Let's just pause that a second, disband my armies. But as I was saying, and so the higher your level of fame, the higher bonuses you have. For instance, I am distinguished. I get +1 knight. And the secular opinion being, as you can see, the opinion of that are not clergy. I thought that did say clergy then. I was like, wait a minute, that's clergy opinion. Secular opinion, all characters that are not clergy will get 5 opinion of me. Now, in the next level, if I hover over illustrious, that will be 10. Now, if I get to the 5th level, that will be a +20, and I will get +4 knights. So as you can see, the more prestigious you are, the more bonuses you get. Now, piety, the same thing, but as you could probably guess, it is clergy opinion. So I now have 3 decisions. Ah, yes, there is low counter control in Dublin as well. Powerful vessels expect council positions, and I can create 2 tities. Tities? Titles. Sorry, folks, it is a bit early here, and I do sometimes. I like saying 2 words in one. It's just fun. As you can see, these are both pretty much the same. They will cost me 212. So, to create that, and then the Kingdom of Ireland will cost me 637 gold. So, 230 gold off. I got 31 gold from occupying Dublin. Always good. And I wonder if I have any prisoners. No, I do not. So no one I can ransom. You capture prisoners that someone cares about. They are willing to pay you to get them back. You are trying to become diplomatic again. Let's give you to me wife. As I was saying, yes, they will pay to get them back, depending on how much they care about them. Depends on the amount of gold. For instance, if you happen to have a ruler of something, a count, a duke, or a king, they will generally pay more the higher the rank they are to be released. They will obviously be paying their own. Yeah, I'll go to a feast. They will be paying their own ransom. If you have someone's heir, he will be, for instance, he will earn you more gold than if you just own someone's knight. You know? So the more important they are to the person, I do say some clever things at times. I must have said something particularly intelligent because Earl Connerbach complimented how clever I am. It gains scholarly confidence, which reduces my learning, okay? When dumb people think they're smart, it clearly doesn't go well. The other thing you'll have noticed me doing, had interesting conversation. That's always a good one. That'll give my learning back. The other one you'll have noticed me doing things on is educating my children. I will talk through that a bit more when I educate my next child, which probably won't happen before long. It happens when they turn 6. There you go, I lost 20 stress. You generally lose stress from being at a feast unless you're, say, shy. Because shock and horror, you don't like being around other people. Yeah, it happens when they turn 6. You should designate a guardian for your child. And I have about 8 children by now, so I'm sure one will turn 6 very, very soon. I think I've put 3 or 4 of them to be educated. And of course my eldest is in fact an adult, so they won't need to be educated anytime soon. I am going to... Oh, she's pregnant again. Oh, she gives out boys. I don't like her. I'm going to switch to increase the counter control in that one. It is worth a lot more money. It is a lot of it's a much richer town than this one, and this one is up at 69 already. So that's not too bad. By the time that one increases to 100, that one might be quite close to 100 anyway. Low counter control in Ossuary, of course. Yes, that's the one I just took them away from. Oh no, is it? No, yes, it is. That's the one I took them away from. That message had disappeared because I was in fact actively changing it. There you go, I have another son, so my land is dividing fantastically. I have 9 children. Now, of course, if I didn't have to marry 4 wives at the beginning, it wouldn't really have done much for me to not have the wives. Although it may have done, actually. Let's... Yep, no, it doesn't. There's no negative modifiers for not having 4 spouses. I have seen it if you are polygamous through religion, then you will lose piety if you will lose piety if you don't have the number of spouses you're supposed to. But the fact that it's through my culture, there is no negative, so I didn't have to marry 4 wives, and then I wouldn't be having so many children, which is always a route you should definitely think about when you start out and you have Confederate partition. Because like I said, your lands will just constantly get split. Same with partition as well. Your lands will simply keep getting divided. For instance, when I die, my son will take over Thomond and Ennis. I will lose Ossuary, Leinster and Dublin. So as you can see, not really the best result for me. And I'm not going to spend my gold yet, because these titles will be created on their own without my help when I die. There you go, another son. We are popping out sons everywhere. The succession is safe. That is an achievement that just popped up. I don't think you would have seen it on your screens. Basically means I've had 10 children. Now it's an achievement I actually already have, so I wasn't overly pushing for it. It does mean, however, that I have lots of spare heirs in case anything happens to the first one. AKA, the succession is now safe. But yes, like I said, it can actually cause a lot more problems at the beginning with partition succession. Oh, very nice. Any of you guys? Oh, just one claimant. You want to come join me? Nope. He's his player heir, so we can't come join. Another tip for you folks to get around the... If you did want more wives, for instance, you could attempt to obviously marry a few more for alliances, or you could marry, try and get a few more married for stats. You can also always filter when you go to marry by infertile people. So you could just marry someone that's infertile and not actually have any children with them. That way you can have all of your marriages, especially if in the religious sense, if you don't want to lose the piety for the penalty of not having 4 wives. And then by doing that, you will also then decrease the number of children you have, helping out with the confederate or partition rule, succession rules you may have, and with the dividing of all of your territories. Because trust me, it can get very, very annoying when you keep shrinking, but all of your vassals, all of the people around you seem to keep growing. It does become very difficult to keep your troop number up and your general strength up and your money up when these things do keep happening. It can get very annoying. Now, we are about 100 gold off being able to create the Kingdom of Ireland. At which point then, we will just have a few more counties to conquer, which should be a bit easier because they should technically then be... I should be able to push de jure wars, or if I'm very lucky, I might even be able to simply get them to join me. How old are you? You hella old. Who's your heir? Who is your heir? Oh. You. I'm going to sway you. Yes. So that when I... And he's got a bit more learned than me. So that I can hopefully... simply convince him to be my vassal when I become the King of Ireland. I will be his rightful de jure liege. I will be right next to him. There are no bad things. For instance, we're both Irish, both insular. You're Irish, right? We'll both be Irish, both be insular. My wife is pregnant again. Children everywhere. Imagine being in my castle, folks. See, this is why I own 4 of them. I can stick a wife in each one. I can divide the children. And now I just need to conquer a 5th that I can make into a man cave with no children. And I will finally get a moment's peace and quiet. Because right now I have 11 children. Well, actually 10. I suppose I have a son. That's probably not too bad. But I have 10 children running around being children. I mean, wow, the headache I must have had. And look, I'm barely stressed. Barely stressed at all. The stress level, for those of you who don't really understand it, as you've seen, some of the things I've chosen, I've gained and I've lost stress. A lot of these have to do with my general personality traits and the decisions I'm making. For instance, if I go against my personality, I get stress. If I go with my personality, I don't get stress. So as you can see, I have quite a low stress level, 20 out of 300. At every 100, you go up a stress level, which has negative effects for you. For instance, I'll click back on this guy. This guy is contrite, and he is flagellant. If I attempt, I don't think I can see his stress level. No, I cannot. But that is basically because he has hit the stress level twice. So, with that, he basically... Bad things happened. He became stressed. And, as I said, horrible things happen. And there you go, folks. We are very close to being able to create the Kingdom of Ireland. Another 30 or so gold off. Should only take a couple of months. How are you doing? You popped up to 81. You're currently on 62. Now, as you can see, I can't get Peacemaker because I need to go all the way down the left-hand side of this as well. Which basically has to do with how beautiful people think I am. Now, I could attempt to go Gallant. What is Overseer? It's a straight-up trait. Martial +2, Stewardship +2, Control Glove +50%. Or I can keep pushing down the Strategist area. Let us do that. Let's get Siege Weapon Effectiveness. And I am actually going to... I mean, how old am I? I'm 52. I'm actually going to switch my lifestyle focus. As I mentioned in my video, which I never released because it ended up being 40 minutes long, the tutorial on lifestyles, I did basically mention, which I will now simply mention now, as the video does not exist, you can of course change your lifestyle, and you do not have to choose the lifestyle that you are in fact educated in. No, 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 no. That it does not have to happen at all. So, I am going to simply push this lifestyle, or am I? Do you know what? I'm not actually, because I was going to push it to try and get basically a perk in scientific, which is fantastic. Because as you can see, my cultural fascination progress goes up by 35%. However, I'm dumb as a brick. So although this will definitely help me get the ability to change my succession law, I should actually have Island before that happens. So we're in fact just going to keep pushing Marshall in case I need to about to go to wars for the rest of Ireland. And would you look at that? Sioned has given birth to another son. I have about 5 sons now. Never the best thing. They will all end up fighting each other for something or others. But it's my lad. Cradled by sickness. Oh no, he's sickly. I wonder if she was the my wife that gave me a sick child before. And here you go, folks. It's popped up, so I'll talk about this as well. This is my dynasty legacies. Now, for most things I do, I will gain renown. Renown is basically like prestige, but renown is prestige for my house. As you can see, this is Dal Gakais Dynasty Legacies. That is my house. So the other people in my house can also earn renown for the house. However, as I am the head of the house, I get to choose what happens with it. So when you gain a certain amount, I have gained 250, which is level 1. This basically not quite doubles every time, but next time it will be 500, and I'm pretty sure it's 750. I'll have to try and remember off the top of my head whether it goes up by 250 every time. But it does increase every time you unlock a new one, and then you get to choose one thing which will boost everybody in your house. Now, these range from many, many things, basically. And these obviously then do stick on. These are not for your character. These are for your whole house. So these go through your whole legacy. So we are going to choose one of these. And first off, I would just also like to say thank you to Shivering Death for the subscribe. That is very, very kind of you. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Of course, if you've got any questions, pop up in the chat and let me know. So we are going to pick one of these dynasty legacies. Now, obviously, you generally want to push what you're kind of trying to do. For this learning scenario, I am trying to make the Kingdom of Ireland. Now, of course, warfare might not be a bad one. I'm only likely to get one. I might get a second dynasty legacy because this is only going to be, as I said, a short video. I might want to attempt to push House of Warriors. I get an extra bit of prowess and my knight effectiveness goes up. The other ones, marriage acceptance, not too worried about at this stage. Now, blood. Chance of inheriting good traits or chance of creating new traits does increase. This is a great one if you're trying to basically create a god of an heir. Which, if I was going to stay around and push the whole of the legacy, might be one I would be thinking about. However, as I said, I'm only likely to get one. I am simply going to chuck in House of Warriors, as this is basically, I think, going to help me in the short term with the wars I am going to be fighting. So let's chuck one in there. Like I said, if I was playing a much, much longer game, that probably wouldn't have been the one I picked. But because I'm playing a short game, simply uniting the Kingdom of Ireland and, you know, showing you guys a few things, that is the one I'm going to pick. And as per always, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, feel free to hit that subscribe and like button. I don't actually know if you can like a live stream. I'm not gonna lie, this is the first stream I have done in YouTube. I usually do stream on Twitch, but I wanted to jump over and see what it's like on YouTube. And of course, if you've got any questions, jump up in the chat. Or if you're watching this afterwards, these will be posted to YouTube afterwards if there's anything you've missed or you want to rewatch. Feel free to chuck any questions or comments down in the comments section. And I will do my best to answer. Now, we're going to pause here for two reasons. One, because I want to explain this and this could take a short bit of time. And two, because we can create the Kingdom of Ireland. And I don't want to suddenly drop dead whilst I'm explaining this to you. Now, as I mentioned, you do designate guardians for your children when they turn 6. Ooh, she is in good health. Pastoralist. Ah, yes, that is one of my cultural bonuses. Cultural traits, if you will. Now, she has been chosen. Ah, awesome. Thanks for clearing that up, Shivering Death. Like I said, I've never actually streamed to YouTube before, and welcome very much to the stream. Very glad to have you here. As you can see, the education, she is going for an education focus of diplomacy. Now, you can change this if you wish. You can only change it once, however. So if you are going to change it, make sure you are happy with your decision. And as you can see, she will gain a bonus in learning and diplomacy, but she will get a negative in martial. She will be neutral in intrigue and stewardship. Now, this is because of the childhood trait she has gained. As you can see, gains a bonus in diplomacy and learning. Now, I'm not going to change this. She's not going to become my heir. However it sounds, I'm not too invested. I'm going to let the game play out as the game wishes to play out. And so, she is trying to become diplomacy. Now, if I simply bring this screen back up, I'm going to basically find someone that has a good diplomacy education trait to educate her. Bonuses, if they are also a genius, intelligent, or quick, which is a congenital trait, which, pretty much self-explanatory, makes a person smarter. If you are educated by a smart person, you have a higher chance of getting a good education. And there are a few other factors which can have an effect. Now, as you can see, I don't have anyone that's good at diplomacy. So, I also don't have anyone who's a genius. So one of my next ones is maybe just to aim for some good traits. I'm just going to simply stick her on the first person who comes up on top. And he can educate my daughter. Now, if I was to educate my daughter myself, I will have event pop-ups which will help me manipulate, although only very slightly, the education, or the personality traits, sorry, not the education traits, the personality traits that my children would gain. As you can see, these are the personality traits. Most people gain 3. As I mentioned, I believe it's possibly going to be in video 1 if you want to look back. I did find someone who had 4. Maybe it was, no, it can't be you. I don't know if I'll be able to find them again. It may have been your father. No. It was somebody who had 4, which is actually quite rare. I've almost never seen that, but it is a possibility. It is also possible to only have 2 if your education goes very, very poorly. But once again, this is quite rare, and I've maybe seen it once. Which, once again, for instance, if you look on my YouTube page, you will notice I already have a few playthroughs even posted. And, of course, I have played this game a little bit privately before I even started streaming. So I have played the game a little bit. I wouldn't say I've put thousands upon thousands of hours into it, but I have played the game a bit. You know, I've seen a few of these things here and there. Right, now, as I said, the next thing we wanted to do after that brief explanation of education, I can now create the Kingdom of Ireland. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and create the Duchy of Meath. Create that title. And on that, then I'm going to go and create the Kingdom of Ireland. And with that, as you can see, it now says I have a royal court. Now, of course, to have a royal court, you have to have the Royal Court DLC, which I do own. And once you create a court, I'm not quite sure if this pops up if you don't have a royal court and it just doesn't allow you to do the extra stuff, or whether this event is very much tied into having the royal court DLC. I would like to think so, because otherwise it's just a tease. But let's be honest, you're a company, you want to make money, you want to tease people to the things they're missing, so it wouldn't surprise me. As High King, you have new duties and responsibilities. You will now be expected to regularly hold court, solving the disputes of the realm and letting your courtiers take part in your daily routines. Earl Ragnvald of Ormond is looking sternly at me in a direct, almost lecturing way. Perhaps there is also some surprise in his eyes. He starts to unfold a beautiful banner, bearing the emblem of House... I'm just going to call it House Brain. One of the ways in which the world will now judge your rule is by how you adorn and care for your royal court. I have taken the liberty to have this made as a gift to mark the beginning of your royal tenure. So I will enter the royal court because I am now going to just give you a brief explanation of the royal court and how it works. Now, in the royal court, you have 3 tabs at the top. One is simply your throne room. As you can see, this is my throne room. Pretty empty, pretty blank, just a bunch of people standing around. This will, however, on this screen, you can have events that happen in your royal court, and this will basically... there will be random things that pop up. You know, your courtiers start arguing, or they have things that happen to you, or maybe even slightly outside events have appeared in your court. And you can basically click on the little symbol that turns up above people, and you can solve that event. Now, the next tab is my court grandeur. This is a detailed breakdown of my court grandeur. I currently have a court grandeur of 25, that was very generous of them. And so as you can see, I am on court grandeur level 3. As you can also probably see, this bar is red. Now, this means that it is much higher than it should be, and so it's going to decrease. It will decrease to the blue area. The blue area is what my current court grandeur baseline actually is. Now, as you can also see, I need a court grandeur of level 1. You can tell that by the flag underneath it. That is what I am expected to have for my current kingdom. So if I drop down to a court grandeur of level 5, I will be below my court grandeur. And then on this screen, there are a few things that you can change that can also help that. As you can see, there are 4 areas. We're talking about fashion, food, servants, and lodgings. And as I increase these, they will cost me more money. They will also grant me extra bonuses. Now, I'm going to leave those for now. And I am going to also then jump into the 3rd tab and look at my artifacts. But however, 2 last things. The type of court I have and my court language. You can change these. I don't usually, for instance, especially my court language. You know, I am a proud king. I'm not going to go and change my court language. Of course, depending on your playthrough, you may choose to. Maybe you are, in fact, trying to emulate the great court of the Carlings in France or something. I'm not quite sure if the Carlings exist in this start-through, but they definitely do in the 800 start-through. And they are a very, very big kingdom. Or house, I should say. And, well, they're usually about very big 4 kingdoms. And then the type of court I am. Now, I have 2 choices, diplomatic and scholarly. And that is by the type of culture I have selected. And as you can see, they have different bonuses. I'm simply going to keep it on diplomatic court. As opposed to scholarly. And as you can see, the bonuses they have. Now, a big one you can notice on this. I can have 1 extra personal scheme. So if I have to sway 2 people at the same time, I can do it. Usually you can only have 1 personal scheme going. But now I can have 2, which will be very, very useful. And then the last tab is my court artifacts. Now, as you can see, these squares are where you can put artifacts. There are different types of artifacts. For instance, these are pedestal. These are books. We have a couple of furniture. We have small wall ornaments. And we have large wall ornaments. Now, I have some large wall ornaments, which is why these currently have a plus on them. They will basically be my 2 house banners that I have just been given. Now, let's stick my dynasty banner on the back wall. Then let's stick my house banner on the left wall. Now, as you can see, these will have bonuses on them. For instance, by having this banner on display, I will gain 0.15 extra prestige, 0.06 renown, my build and construction cost will go down by 3%, and my court grandeur bonus will go up by 2. And now the other one also then has some bonuses. Now, as you can see, court grandeur bonus. You will get these from pretty much every artifact you put up. From a level from +1, I believe the highest I've seen is +4. Now, I'm not saying +4 is the max. You might get some amazing court artifacts, which may be able to push you beyond that. But the +4 is for a high-ranking artifact. So now, if I go back to my court grandeur, as you can see, we're still very much above our baseline, but our baseline is now 8. I only need a baseline of 10 to keep myself at grandeur level 1. So, on that note, I'm going to give myself one of these things. As you can see with these things, if I increase to level 1, the court grandeur bonus will be +4. Now, that'll be the same for all of them. However, the other improvements and benefits will all be different depending on which line you're looking at. So I'm going to check all 4 very quickly and decide which one I think is beneficial to me. Bit of scheme power. Bit of resistance. And guest recruitment cost has decreased. Bit of stress loss. Monthly prestige. That's not a bad one. And guest acceptance. I think we might go for the prestige. So as you can see, that will cost me 0.2 gold per month. But if I click apply, and I can't take it off, as you can see, there's a little message here. If once I've applied it, I cannot remove it for 12 months. So I'm going to apply that. And as you can see, I now have outmoded fashion in my court, as opposed to 0 fashion. As you can see, the baseline for my court is now 12. So although my court grandeur level is going to decrease, I will always stay above court grandeur level 1, which is my required level at my base. Now, of course, if I have a bad event happen, this could, of course, decrease past my base level, but then at which point it will then slowly increase back to my base. My base is what it will always attempt to return to. So by having a base above what I'm required, this will allow me to keep, generally keep the level of grandeur I'm supposed to have. Now, we have had a few more things pop up. I can vassalize Petty King Ide. This is what I was hoping for. I'm basically going to vassalize the Petty Kingdom of Connacht. So let's vassalize him. And by doing so, I'm hoping to also then be able to vassalize the last 2 guys. Now, I have few knights. I only have 11 out of 12. Now, this has obviously popped up because I've gone down the gallantry, which gives me an increased number of knights. And also, as you increase... Does it say? Yep, it does give me... As you increase your rank, you also are allowed to have more knights. So as you can see, as a king, I get +7. As a petty king... I'm not entirely sure the number off the top of my head is as a duke. And unfortunately, I can't go back and find out. But you... No, I was say you may be able to check one of my old videos. No, you won't, because I never highlighted it. And then from Household Guards, which is the perk down the gallantry, I get +4. And because I'm distinguished, which is my prestige, I get an extra +1. Now, however, I don't have enough knights to fill all of these positions. However, my knight effectiveness is 190%, which is glorious. I can declare 2 wars on Connacht and... Aelec. Who is... Oh, the guy at the top. Why can I declare war on Aelec? I can seize because it's de jure, but I can't seize Ulster. Oh, because I have an alliance with him. Aha. Do I? Why do I have an alliance with you? Oh, no, wait, sorry. I have an alliance with him. I thought I had a truce with him then when I read that. I was like, why do I have a truce with you? I've never picked a fight with you. I'm not going to get in touch with Leinster simply because I can't. I have 3 gold. I'm almost broke. I'm not going to try and hire a court physician or invite any knights because, once again, they cost gold to hire. Although, on that note... Again, the trick I mentioned earlier, which I mentioned sometimes you might then need more knights. Do I have any unmarried courtiers? I didn't think so. That's me wife. She's not unmarried. That's me wife. That's me wife. That's me daughter-in-law. That's a male, just with very long and beautiful flowing hair. My spymaster is not married. Right then. At which point, let's put you by prowess. My nephew, marshal, and knight. So no, he's already my knight, my nephew, and knight. He is at somebody else's court, and he has a prowess of 14. Let's marry you up to him. Let's make it matrilineal. He should now turn up at my court. And he was 14. So we're going to press play, keep these things moving. And we're actually going to see if we can find any more courtiers. Spymaster. My sister-in-law. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be all we're going to be finding, ladies and gentlemen. All of my daughters and sons and grands. Yeah, that's all we got. That is all she wrote. He has accepted my gracious offer of vassalization. Now, there you go. I can now vassalize... my last 2 people in the Kingdom of Ireland. I'm just going to press that pause button. He accepts my gracious offer of vassalization. And there you have it, folks. We have just created the Kingdom of Ireland. Now, as you saw, that was quite simple and quite easy. The person I started as is set as an easy starting position. I can create 2 titles. And I can hire a court physician. And I am being raided. Now, how much gold is he? Oh, he's definitely worth trying to intercept, methinks. I'm going to move you up here. I'm going to raise all. And I'm just going to quickly show you what happens when you crush a raider. I hope. I'm in charge of the army. That's good. Oh, it's going to be a close one. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Yeah, there you go. It's moving in my advantage. Now, he has a certain amount of gold, which I am going to now steal off their corpses. So as you can see, he was raiding, it wasn't technically my land, but now because it's my vassal's land, he did become hostile to me. There you go, I captured 58 gold worth of loot, and again gave me 30 prestige. And that guy now gained 25 opinion of me, which I don't need to do anymore, because he's already in my realm. I can now disband my army. There you go, I went and gained myself 50 gold, which in essence, I stole off my vassal, because technically, the raiders stole it off my vassal, and then I just simply stole it back, but kept it. So as you can see, when I mentioned decisions or events can happen in court, this is exactly what I was talking about. So here you go, we have a symbol. Oh, I hate this one. A flock of robed men burst into the throne room, hectically searching the floor and uprooting everything from chairs to skirts in frantic search. "Hi, King Merchant," cries one. "We are the followers of Blaithgus the Headless, a great holy man who has been decapitated as part of a prophecy God gave him at birth." Why not? As often happens with holy figures, his head started rolling away. "We have been chasing it through the land, and we are certain it rolled up the hillock into your castle." Now, of course, then you have 3 decisions, and these all have consequences. As you can see, this will cost me 6 court grandeur, but this person will gain 40 opinion of me. This person being a random wanderer. However, my archbishop will lose opinion of me. I can join in, at which point there's a 41% chance I will find a long-forgotten antiquity in my castle and gain 6 court grandeur, or they will cause a mess and I will lose 10 court grandeur. And my priest loses 40 opinion of me. Or I can try an intrigue challenge. I gain 10 court grandeur. My priest gains 20 opinion of me, and there's a 66% chance they're intimidated, or a 33% chance they will be back. Now, having done this before, by being back means they'll turn up in my sleep and try and murder me. However, let's have a go. 66% chance of intimidating them. There you go. They were intimidated, so they will be leaving me and my court alone, and not chasing imaginary priestly heads up a hill into my land. And so there you go, folks. We have created the Kingdom of Ireland. We have created the Kingdom of Ireland, and that was basically the goal for this education stream. Now, this... there you go. There's another thing we can talk about very quickly. We will, in fact, do these last 2 things as well. Basically, I'm not going to lie, I have been cutting these videos as things have been happening, and this last video has got a little bit left time left in it. It's only 20 minutes long, so I will just explain a few more things to do with the royal court. Now, this one that's popped up is inspiration. Every once in a while, someone will turn up your court with an inspiration to make something. Now, especially at this stage, and if you believe you can afford it, it's not a bad idea to jump on that bandwagon, because my court is very, 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 very empty. So this person wants to try and make a book for me. Excuse me. Antonio Aliata has a book inspiration. Now, his skill is merely decent. Now, the better his skill, the more he will cost, but also the better chance of making a better item, a better artifact for you. His skill is merely decent. Now, for me to sponsor him will cost 50 gold. But it is merely decent. That is basically, I would say, probably about level 2 out of 4. He is well regarded amongst his peers. He is legendary. These are some of the levels you can come across. Eventually, when you've seen a few, you'll get used to roughly what levels produce what kind of things. However, he's only going to cost me 50 gold. I'm making a very decent amount of gold at this point. I'm going to jump on this bandwagon, and I'm going to get him to make a book artifact for me. So that will happen in 14 months. There will, of course, I'm not going to lie, be a couple of events that pop up whilst that's going on that can help or hinder things. And now the other thing that's happening that keeps popping up is holding court. Every once in a while, you can hold court in your kingdom. And this will have random events and random effects. So, this will cost me 100 piety, 100 prestige, and let's hear my petitioners. So as I sit on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors, and then people will start to come in, and there will be 3 petitioners who will come and ask me for favours. Let's gesture... let's just go outside, sod it. No, let's gesture for the first to approach. So as you can see, we have 3 people approaching. My nephew takes the floor. I have an idea to improve taxation. You could send surveyors to question your subjects about every property, its name, owner, extension and value, and how many people and animals live there. Proceed with this survey. It will cost me 120 gold. The survey begins and it will take some months to complete. And this person will gain 20 opinion of me. Now, I don't have 100... I don't have 120 gold to spend. So that's probably not going to happen. If you want to improve taxation, I can just ask for more taxes. That will get every vassal to pay 5 gold to me, but then direct vassals will lose 50 opinion. Or I can simply say it's not worth it, and he will lose 20 opinion. Now I'm going to simply say it's not worth it. Because, quite frankly, I cannot afford the other 2 things. Sorry, 1 second, folks. Okay, my recording may have slightly messed up, but hopefully not, as I would like for this to be viewable by you guys afterwards, so you can also use this as a reference material. So, here's another vassal that's come in. Oh, his land has been hit hard by recent raiding. The people are starving, our fields are not recovering, and our livestock is not enough to survive anymore. We beg you to intervene. Now, because I am a dreadful character... No, sorry, I am wrathful. Yep. I have an extra option that's turned up. I gain some dread, he loses opinion, and he also becomes closer to becoming my rival. The other options, on the other hand, I can give him a bit of gold. I will gain a weak hook favour, which will allow me to do a few little decisions with him. And the Earldom of Ulster gains county investments, which will increase its development growth and its popular opinion. I can grant him a tax relief. As you can see, this will give him a 50% tax reduction and will once again increase his development and his popular opinion. I will also gain a weak hook. I can send someone as an official inspector to help supervise the recovery. This person will leave my court, who is my sister-in-law, and then it will gain an official inspector. She will gain official inspector and gain +1 stewardship. Or I can simply tell him to go away and sort out his problems. I'm going to give him tax relief. It's only 1 county, and he probably doesn't give me too much tax anyway. And I think just basically out of the options, I'm not going to lie, it's not something I overly want to give him, but out of the options, I think it's the best one I have. And lastly, my priest. Oh no, a wandering priest has turned up. Oh dear lord, he's so learned. And he's only 57. I represent the religious community of Slemish. While rummaging through our modest archive, we have come across a very peculiar book. The cover was dusty, the binding fragile, and the pages were yellowed by time. But it contained the most unusual drawings, and the script itself was unknown to us all. We are certain it is unique in the world, a long-lost vault of knowledge, a true treasure. That's why we offer it to you. Perhaps it's the original copy of the Will of God, or its memoir from the world's creation. Well, there you go. I can gain a mysterious book, which will give me monthly prestige +5, or I can say who cares, and it will cost me 150 prestige. Now, why wouldn't I get plus 5% monthly prestige with absolutely zero consequences? That's what we're going to do. And so there you go. The last petitioner departs and my business is concluded. So that is a bit more of the Royal Court DLC and making decisions. Now, as I said, if there's anything else you have questions on or anything else you'd like to know, feel free to chuck it down into the comments below. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. All of these videos will end up actually posted to YouTube after the stream finishes at some point either today or tomorrow. So, as mentioned, I hope you've all enjoyed this. I hope you've all learned something from this, as that was the whole point of this stream. I'm not going to lie, I did also want the Create Island with an Irish Ruler achievement. There's always a little something for myself. Of course, not going to lie as well, I do actually really love streaming anyway, so that is what I actually gain out of this, folks. Getting the achievement was simply a nice little bonus. So, I hope you all enjoyed it, I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you will all enjoy the rest of your day. So we're going to end this stream here, and I will catch you all next time. Thank you all very much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.